I'm only 4 days into my New Year's resolution of not buying another car, but I'm already being tempted by the forbidden fruit, this time in the form of the cheapest Isuzu VehiCROSS in the USA. Now, I was hoping I could drive this car, review it, enjoy it for a little while, and then give it back, but I'm really having a hard time with this. I didn't expect it to be this good. Now, despite its 90s futuristic body shell, the VehiCROSS is actually very primitive underneath. It's about the same size as an old Bronco or an International Scout, and it has the same construction. Old school body on frame, which is something you don't get with small SUVs anymore. This thing actually has some off-road credentials to it. It won its class in the Dakar Rally in a couple of stages in 1998, which is really cool. You're not going to see that with a Honda HR-V. And really the only body-on-frame smaller SUVs, it's hard to say small because they're just giant nowadays, that we could buy are the Jeep Wrangler and the Toyota 4Runner. The Toyota 4Runners. While this plastic cladding is probably more famous for being adorned on the much maligned Pontiac Aztek, I think it kind of works with this car because it could go hardcore off-road and need this kind of protection. But still, there's plenty of weird styling cues with this car, like all of the ribbed door panels, the headliner, the back, other pieces. They're ribbed for nobody's pleasure. Geese. This is certainly one of the weirdest looking SUVs ever made, but I don't think it's just the looks that explains why they sold so few of these. It had to be the price. They started out around 32 grand, which was $10,000, more than $10,000, over a fully loaded Jeep at the time, like a Wrangler Sahara edition, and only about $3,000 less than the cheapest Mercedes ML320. Of course, Doug DeMuro, not too long ago, had a field day with all of the quirks with a mint VehiCROSS that he found out in California, but this one is far from mint. It's the cheapest one in the USA for sale right now at $3,000, and it's got a lot of character. Okay, I admit, it has a lot of patina, a lot. The exterior paint's falling off, and the inside is an absolute mess in here. I think the center console has leprosy. Ugh, I don't know what's going on there. Seats are torn. The gauge cluster is lit up like a Christmas tree, but this thing still drives great. Pretty impressive for 229,000 miles. But when you look past all the character with this VehiCROSS, there are some impressive things with it. The first thing that really struck me were the seats. They are super comfortable, and they're styled to look like the old Recaro seats in like 80s and 90s BMWs, even with the extra leg support that you can pull out. Ooh, and I probably shouldn't have pulled out to see what was inside of there. I'll fold it back in. The other thing that struck me is the rear seats and how much room there is. Those look like lounge chairs back there. There's lots of leg room, and it looks really comfortable. I also like that it still has a little bit of that 80s, 90s Japanese flavor as far as the lights. The little display that the LED gives you in the 6-disc changer, it gives you a little show when you start up the car. It's just, you know, it's just things that you don't get anymore with Japanese cars. That's not bad either. This 3.5 V6 is actually pretty impressive. They call it torque on demand, with the transmission and the transfer case setup putting the power to the wheels that need it so it doesn't slip. I don't think this one's working. I'm not sure if the front wheels are getting any power at all, but it does have plenty of scoot. And the ride's not too terrible, actually, for an old school frame on body truck. It's fine. It's totally livable. And I didn't expect it to be livable. For only $3,000, I mean, why not? Just put it away and have a little off-road toy. When you hit the Jeep trails, everybody's gonna go, what the? Too bad I can't buy it. Oh. Parts availability on a vehicle like this, a discontinued car from a discontinued company in the United States, is gonna be really tough, but it's actually not that bad. My friend Bob, who owns this car, offered for sale, Euro Asian Auto Inc. in Wichita, Kansas. When he bought it at auction, it had really bad shocks, and he was able to find the shocks for only $30 each. Basically nothing. As far as the drivetrain goes, it's a 3.5 V6
I'm gonna open it. Ooh.
Which is shared with much more common Isuzu models like the Rodeo or the Axiom. So any kind of mechanical wear item, you can probably find it. Yeah, actually, now that I look at this with the hood up, this thing must be a joy to work on. It looks so simple. A cable-driven throttle, everything's reachable, everything's identifiable. It's really simple under here. Neat. It's like the radiator's cracked, though. Ah. Body parts wise, you would think VehiCROSS panels, these weird headlights with fins and this cladding, would be impossible to find, but when I was Googling around for used parts, they were everywhere and it wasn't too expensive. So restoring this VehiCROSS wouldn't be too bad, actually, and I think it would be kind of fun to build this thing into a Dakar rally tribute. Lift this thing up a little bit, make it look like a serious off-roader, but sadly, I'm not going to be the one to do it. My New Year's resolution and all, so I have to take this fish that I just caught, the cheapest VehiCROSS in the USA, and throw it back in the pond for somebody else to catch. And now that I think about it, this thing looks way more like a frog than a fish, but you all get the analogy. Thank you for watching.